Marketing versus sales. What's the difference? What does it take for a prospect to become a customer? Let's take a closer look. First of all, I look at the position of marketing and sales in the client's organization. If we look at a typical organizational chart, we'll see someone at the top, usually the CEO or the president, and then there's the C-suite, the C-level. And usually there's not a chief sales officer. There's a chief marketing officer frequently, and of course a chief operating officer and a chief financial officer. Well, if a company does not have a CFO, let's say a chief financial officer, they still have the CFO function. And whose responsibility is that? It becomes the CEO's. So whenever there's not a position filled at the C level, the CEO is responsible for it. Well, where does sales typically fit in? The highest ranking salesperson in most org charts that I see is the VP of Sales and Marketing. But take a look at this position. This position assumes that the individual knows sales and marketing. They are two different disciplines, but this assumes that one person knows both of those well enough, and that person typically reports to the CEO. Remember that the CEO is the corporate visionary. They determine the destination of the organization, whereas the C-suite tends to be strategic. These are where the strategies are developed, and then the management level or the VP level is tactical. Well, who is developing the strategies for sales and marketing? Quite often when that person reports to someone in the C-level, it's the CMO. And again, we're back into the argument about, does one person know enough about sales and marketing? It's important that they be in sync with each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same individual. As we go through this presentation, remember, I'm a sales guy, and I may be a little biased. What is the purpose of marketing and sales? Well, marketing is supposed to introduce the prospect to the organization or to the product or service, whereas sales interacts with the individual once they've been introduced. Marketing is an influencer, whereas sales becomes an instigator. They cause people to act. What about the typical office environment for sales and marketing? Sales offices typically look like this, where marketing tries to have offices that look more like this. Remember, I'm a sales guy, I'm a little biased. Out in the field, salespeople look like this, marketing people look like that. When we're interviewing candidates for the positions, we look for this kind of individual in sales, where marketing looks for this kind of person. A typical expense account lunch for sales is this, where marketing would typically enjoy something like this. When interacting with the client, the marketing people present themselves like this and salespeople like this. Leisure time activities for marketing people tend to be partying, where salespeople are trying to do expense reports and trying to get their call reports straight. But seriously, the best way to understand the difference in sales and marketing is retail. Marketing is everything that brings the individual to the door of the store, whereas sales is everything that happens once the individual crosses the threshold. That's clearly the delineation between sales and marketing. So which one appeals to you? If you were going to do a career change, would you rather go into sales or marketing? Sales tends to be more personal competition, where marketing is creative competition, our marketing department versus the competitions. And sales is more interactive, where marketing is more engagement. The engagement doesn't have to be one-to-one, it can be through any kind of media. So, what's the difference in marketing and sales? Just remember, I'm a sales guy, and if there's any way I can help you with your sales, let me know. And remember, teach others.